webinar in collaboration with our premium partner, Archer, the GRC solution provider. Audit is not about compliance. It's about providing reassurance to the organization. Make sure that we follow these best practices, current trends, and future of auditing. As a part of this process, I'm going to discuss certain trends. I want to introduce, first of all, myself. So I'm Anurag Dakhida. I have a proper 15 years of experience in GRC domain. I have worked extensively on different modules: audit management, risk management, compliance management, BCM. These are my different fortes. Work on different clients across the Middle East, worked on USA, and works on South Asian clients. Work on different industries that includes aviation, retail, oil and industries. These are the different clients I've worked upon. I'm passing it to my partner, Vibhu. Just introduce himself. Vibhu, over to you.
Hi, thank you, Anurag. Hi, everyone. My name is Vibhu. I manage sales for Archer for Southeast Asia and India markets. And I've been with Archer for 4+ years, and I'm based out of Singapore. And along with me from Archer, I have got two of my colleagues, Rohil Deb, who's a business development director based out of Mumbai. And along with us is Anupam, who's our pre-sales lead, who would be doing the magic today on Archer Technologies, and he's based out of Bangalore. So I'll pass it on to the third speaker here. Yugal, over to you.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Yugal Mehta. I work with Protiviti as Senior Director within the BFSI practice. So the length and breadth of our service offerings spans across banking sector, insurance, NBFC, payments, investment banking. And looking forward to engage with you on this discussion. It's an interesting one, wherein we kind of walk you all through the traditional way of how we used to work around things, and through the new age technologies, as we call it, the new gen, the next gen audit, or the agile audit way, how different that would be. So yeah, I'm looking forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Yugal. So first thing first, let's start about discussing about the webinar objectives. So in today's session, we're going to cover three major areas. First, we'll start understanding, we are summarizing the current risk landscape, where we're going to discuss about the risk interlinkages, what are the top risks from the executive perspective, and what the top 5 the CAs find out these informations, and why there is a driving need for a technology. I will be covering up those topics. Later on, Vibhu will talk about on the importance of leveraging technology. Here, he'll talking about the Archer audit management, how this Archer audit management will help to mitigate the risk which is currently landscape is providing. Inside of that, data analytics, which provides the timely and reliable insights, will also be covered, and how then Archer as a solution can provide the future of auditing. Apart from that, in the last, we'll cover best practices, which Yugal will handle. And after that, current trends and future of auditing is what all will be covered. At the end of the session, there is a Q&A and also a demos planned. So stay tuned for this. First, start with the risk interlinkage. Just want to understand, like, have you ever thrown a pebble on a simple leg? I think this is where you see the ripple, right? The first ripple when create is not stop at the first ripple itself. It creates multiple ripples spread across rivers, and it collides, and it has a magnitude impact of this. Similarly, think the risk in the same fashion. Risks are interconnected. They create a ripple effect. They influence one another, and they amplify their impact. To justify this point, I have some couple of examples to demonstrate this. Let's take an example of cybersecurity incident on any organization that happened. The impact of cybersecurity threats, like maybe phishing, that you can have it, those impact will create an operational issues, disrupt the IT systems, and ultimately leads to financial losses. The financial risk got mitigated will be only, and then move it to the compliance issues. Another example I can talk about the Chennai flood, where the climate disaster that happened, that is environmental risk, that leads to a cascade of government regulations. That's a compliance risk which initiated. We know all about the pandemic. What actually happened there? The healthcare issues leads to supply chain disruption. Overall, included the technology transformation. Now, if you talk about the latest issue or latest risk which has popped up, is about the deep risk, where the new Chinese technology, which has entered in the last week only, has created a stain in the US market. And that's where the interlinkage of the risk are critical and important. So think of that perspective where the risks are not in isolation. They need to be assessed and in a cascading manner. We need to understand how the risks are interconnected. There are various types of risk available in the market. Like you have compliance risk, strategic risk, operational risk, geopolitical risk, environmental risk, operational risk. They all are linked together. So we need a system where or technologies, we need a technology where the interconnection of the risk can be done. We need a system which can do a mass data analysis and they can do a risk assessment of those data. This is where we need to have a system in place. Moving further, let's talk about some of the data points which we have done. Protiviti is being a consulting company, has done a survey in last year and where we have sent around 34 risks to top executives across the globe. Those executives includes CCO directors, executives, and we ask them to rate the risk as per what they see the future of the risk and how they will threaten their business. So if you see there are two quadrants showing up. In 2025 is what the current risk, the top 10 risk which is showing up. And in the 2035, you can see the top 10 risks are showing up here. So the trends which are showing up in cyber threats, third-party risk, heightened regulatory changes and scrutiny, and when compared to the previous year, like 2024 rating, these have been heightened risk. Similarly, in the 2035, if you see that all the risk from compared to previous 2034 decade has been risen as well. To just give an explanation of the methodology, we ask those executives to rate the risk. Those are 34 in number, around 1200 executives there. We ask them those 34 risks which are related to macroeconomic data, which are related to strategic risk, which are related to operational risk. We ask them to rate from 1 to 10. When the rate, if they rate the risk anything 6 from 10, that would be considered as a major threat to them. Anything between 4.5 to 6 will be considered as a significant or emerging risk. And from 1 to 4.5 is considered as a no threat concerns. So this is the average of all the risk which we have received from all the executives, and this will show the numbers. So if you see that a striking contrast that cybersecurity threats is on the rising trends. So all the numbers what you're mentioning here will show that they all all executives rated that risk into significant and major threats. So these are the things which I'm going to talk about from an executive perspective. There are another question which we ask those executives considering the impact of impression, the magnitude and severity of risk in their organization, and how they will achieve this performance goals over next 12 months because of this risk. When they rated it, last 3 years, board members, CEO, CFO, CHRO, CA, CIO, CSO, everyone has rated the ratings differently, but the CA and CRO has rated the high risk on this part of it. This shows that those significant risks which are there in the market are impacting the organization, and they have to be resilient and they need to work actively on this to find a technological transformation. Also, the top 5 risks which you see here, the top 5 risks from the CA 2025 and top 5 risks for CA 25, the CA has also, the chief audit executives has also identified the top 5 risks. So that cyber threats, it remains to be the number 1 risk in 2025. Similarly, in 2035 also, this cyber threats remains to be the topmost priority. Third party risk is in the lead. It also always there, and also in the after 10 years down the line, third party risk need to be in the trend. Economic conditions, including inflationary pressures, will be the current trend where they need to consider more on that. Ability to attract, develop, and retain top talent. It is one of the top most risk, which is again consideration need to be required consideration. So the concept here or the explanation what we're trying to pursue here is to show that these data points still shows that risks are evolving, and we need to take very stringent actions, and we need a solution. We need a technology who can help to navigate the risk through this evolving risk landscape. And how the technology will help you is what we need to see in this coming slides. So what's the importance of technology? Apart from that, what we have understood, the risks are evolving, the risks are interconnected. We need a solution where the risk can be mitigated, where risk can be identified, large risk assessment can be performed, continuous monitoring can be performed, and the interconnection of the risk can be identified. Those things can be performed through a technological solutions. Definitely, it's inhuman to discuss about those part, but definitely a technology transformation need to be performed. Okay, so what are the current key challenges organizations are facing as of now, where the technology will come into play and they will help you to mitigate those challenges or address those key challenges? So we have categorized them into 5 areas. First, risk and compliance. We're talking about regulatory complexity. So organizations across the globe are facing the regulatory making change. Regulatory compliance is one of the biggest challenge there. So a lot of regulations coming out from different regulatory bodies. Let's in India, if you talk about, we have regulations coming from SEBI, we have regulations coming from RBI, and we have regulations coming from GST Act, and so many things which are there. So instead of the compliance team or the audit team face issues and managing the compliance, answering them, and that's why the technology where they will help us to automate the compliance tracking. It ensures real-time regulatory requirements and it tracked and act as a workflow. Cybersecurity risk is rampant, as what we saw in our previous slides. So the cybersecurity risk, the phishing attack, the scamming attacks in the systems, the banking system specifically, those are the ones which require attention on that part. Okay, so how the system helps us? It integrates cybersecurity risk assessments, helping the teams to identify vulnerabilities and prepare defenses proactively. Risk visibility. As we discussed in our previous slides, the risks are not to be identified in isolation. With the help of the system, the centralization of the risk data can be performed. This will enable the teams to monitor, assess, and act accordingly. Operational efficiency. Operational efficiency where the team spends a lot of time on performing an audit on a manual task, whether it may be an execution of audit, whether it's for doing the sampling of the data, or whether it can be a generation of the audit report. So this can be automated from the system. So automation of the workflows, reducing time and errors while improving efficiency is one of the key factors which a system can be utilized for. Fragmented processes. So you know that there are many organizations where they have their offices across different locations, different geographies. Even within the department, many of the departments they work on silos. There is no integration happens on there. So integration of audit compliance and risk management to a single platform is what the need of an hour. And with the help of this tool, this can be done. A system or technology transformation can be performed there. Moving to talent and resources, the cost pressure. There are a lot of repetitive tasks which the team are performing, and they're spending a lot of time on that. With the help of the tool, those tasks can be automated, and they will simplify the processes. So this is the one of the thing. The cost pressures can be reduced. The talent and resources is one of the key factor. The point talent shortages. They are very complex processes where the simplification of the audit processes need to be there. The system helps to simplify those processes, and which will help the small teams to handle complex audits. Data overload. If you talk about the e-commerce giants like Flipkart and maybe the Bharti Airtel and different type of telecom companies, they face a lot of data on a daily basis, a lot of transactional volume they are getting, and processing large volume of data for performing an audit is what a key challenge with these current organizations are facing. So with the help of the system, they can process large volume of data and detecting anomalies, trends, and controls gap. Similarly, the stakeholder expectations, the stakeholders nowadays are asking for the real-time input on a periodic basis. Take an example of SEBI, then all the listed companies, they're asking for the periodic manner, reporting on a periodic manner. With the help of the system, they can empower the stakeholders with real-time customizable audit insights, and they can provide a better decisions. So with the help of these technologies and solutions, the current key challenges can be mitigated. So uh, moving to the technology providers. So we have here with the audit team, Vibhu, if you want to talk about that part, how the technology can help or facilitate these solutions.
Sure. Thank you, Anurag. I found this very informative, the survey that you shared earlier. And when we talk about the technology, it's a given fact without technology, it's very hard to do automation. Technology is acting up an enabler in every aspect of our life, be it audit, be it modernization or automation. So when you talk about technology, we, as in myself, Anupam and Rohel, today we are the partners of Protiviti here called Archer Technologies. And Anurag, if you can just move to the next slide. And before I talk about it, though there's a lot of infographics I would say here, but if we can have a show of hand, how many of you have heard about Archer? I'll just like hold it for like say 10 seconds maximum. And whosoever is the moderator, if you can see if there are some show of hands. Okay, I see few of them coming up, few of them thumbs down, and I'm assuming the thumbs down is you do not know about Archer, but it's nothing against the Archer. So thank you very much, guys. The reason and the purpose I asked is, before I jump into the technology part, it's always good to know who is the technology provider. So Archer has been in the market for almost 24 years, and for long, Archer was part of EMC, so which is into data storage, and EMC acquired a company called RSA, which is into cybersecurity space. So there's a lot of history and legacy. However, for now, Archer Technology is an independent company. However, we have a history of almost 24 years, and we are the only company who can proudly say that we have Gartner Leadership Quadrant for 24 straight quarters, and no else in organization who's into risk can proudly boast about it. So when we started a journey, we were a mere 300 plus people. However, as of now, we are 900 plus people, 950 plus to be precise. And more than 200 plus are sitting out of India. We have our COE in Bangalore, where we have 200 plus people. And that shows A, Archer's commitment to India market, B, the trust that we have in India's technical talent, and in last 3 to 4 years since our independence, Archer has been growing double digit year over year. Now, 80% of our clients, they manage multiple domains of risk on Archer. Now, what do we mean by multiple domains of risk? I'll just take a bit of a one step back. When we talk about Archer, when the journey started, it was GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. However, in last 2 plus decades, that journey has matured into integrated risk management. So we've added a lot of solutions or so areas where Archer is available, and our clients take advantage of Archer, hence multiple domains. So you may start small with audit, you may start small with IT risk. However, if you want to onboard your third parties, or very recently, if you want to manage your ESG reportings, all can be done in a single dashboard. That's what it is, why multiple domains of risk. Now, altogether, we have got roughly 1,300 plus clients globally, majorly into banking, government, BFSI space. And out of these 1,300 clients itself, 250 plus are in the Southeast Asia region, which includes India. India has close to roughly, I would say, around 40 clients, majorly into banking and government space, who has been relying on Archer for past many, many years for their technology automation needs. We have got presence of roughly close to 50 countries, and around 50% of the clientele is Fortune 500. And what the Fortune 500 is, how many of them are in India, we all know that. And the other 50% not necessarily are in the same bracket, but there are smaller mid-size organizations as where the employee size is roughly around, say, 4,000 to 5,000 people. The good news is, as I said, Archer has been committed to India market very recently. Practically exactly 1 year back, Archer launched its India SaaS offering in India, which is MIT approved. So up till now, Archer has been on-prem solution, but now we have both the modalities available on-prem as well as SaaS, and the SaaS is hosted in India. So that's a brief about Archer. All the people who said we do not know much about Archer, I hope they now know a bit about Archer. However, if you have any other questions, we are more than happy to take you through about what all we do. And if you quickly can move on to the next slide. Thank you very much, Anurag. So when I was talking about multiple domains of risks, if you go through this slide, what it talks about is the Archer's way of integrated risk management. If you look at this pyramid, on the left sides, we talk about the assurance, how an organization can gain assurance into their business, build resilience, which is talking about on the right side, and hence leading to a value for the company, for the C-suite. And in between, there's a layer sitting, an over Archer layer sitting of Archer Insights, which is basically a risk quantification method where you can bypass the traditional ways of Monte Carlo and quantify the risk, financial risk associated to the business. So the Archer way of helping our clients is, how do you achieve the business outcomes? There are four major layers, I would say, called the basic pillars. The orchestrating of processes, integrations, engaging the business users and different vendors, and informing your different key stakeholders. And that's how the whole network works. And we can walk you through everything. However, this particular webinar that we're doing is majorly focusing on the audit piece of business. So I've got my colleague here, Anupam, and probably Anupam, though we would be doing a demo of Archer's solution today on the audit piece, but maybe you want to quickly give a high-level run on the audit piece.
Sure. Thanks for that, Vibhu. So essentially, Archer's audit management solution allows you to automate the end-to-end audit lifecycle management journey of yours. Right from you identifying what your audit universe is, to going about creating an audit plan associated to all sorts of audits that you might be conducting in a fiscal year. What sorts of activities would be involved in these audits of yours? Who are the key stakeholders who would be governing these audits or being providing their inputs associated to these audits? Actually running the groundwork of audit, wherein you collect the fieldwork data, any sorts of evidences, identify all sorts of your audit observations, close your non-compliances, and eventually go about creating an audit report out of it. End-to-end automation is something that's covered within Archer here. So as you can see from the 4 points below here, Archer orchestrates your audit management program, wherein you get to govern your end-to-end audit lifecycle management. It integrates into your system, so that tomorrow, beyond just audit capabilities of yours as well, wherein you are trying to bake in all sorts of risk and compliance data flowing in from your first and second line of defense as well. As Vibhu was initially elaborating about the other solutions, Archer does have capability to tackle your operational risk, IT risk, vendor risk, or all sorts of regulatory or corporate compliance management requirement as well, which can in turn be connected to your audit management solution, and you can drive through the entire process seamlessly. It allows you to engage with your business stakeholders as well within the entire audit lifecycle journey of yours. Each stakeholder can collaborate with each other, go in and have a single source of truth where they would be populating their audit observations and audit responses. And the entire automated workflow can run in a seamless manner in such a way that each activity can be conducted at a stepwise manner, and you can run the entire program accordingly. And finally, let's just say that the entire process has been completed. Something as seamless as reporting to your committee or your board of directors as well, or your audit report. How do you bring out certain very good visualizations and dashboards that give your audit committee a very real time exposure of how the organization's audit program is looking like, is also a capability baked in within Archer. I'll be talking about this point in a few minutes more, but yes, Vibhu, again, over to you.
Thanks, Anupam. So, Anurag, maybe you want to move on to the next one. Hi, Anurag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. So by now you've heard about, what has been the history of Archer, what all areas Archer cover, and especially on the audit. But just a quick, dry run on high level on the Archer differentiators. What is the differentiated value that Archer brings on the table for you to leverage on Archer? While we have been in the industry for 20 plus years, we have been in Gartner Magic Quadrant, both SaaS and on-prem and all those things. But however, the key differentiator from a tool perspective is, one is the comprehensive integration. Archer is the only tool which can integrate into any of the third-party tools through an API, and it's highly customizable. You need not go through tons and tons of JavaScript to manage Archer. Your first line of defense administrations can do this customization very easily. It's very flexible, and it is also about automation, efficiency, and scalability. During my initial slide, I was talking about clients managing multiple domains of risk. So as I said, you can start small with internal audit. You can add multiple other domains, your subsidiaries, overseas operations into Archer. You can scale from 1 to 10 very easily in a single pane, in a single dashboard, without going through different codes and all. And at the end of the day, it's all about the taxonomy that is created, the robust reporting and analysis. So from first line to the third line to C level, everybody has a single dashboard. The risk culture, the risk reporting, everybody talks the same language. Now, it is very hard to get when you're doing those things manually, or you have tools, but they are siloed. They are not interconnected. So getting everything in one tool is what makes your life easier. And that's what the Archer differentiator is. And probably once you see the demo, you'll see how the process flow happens and how you can leverage on this. Anurag, can you please move?
Yep.
Okay, as we were talking about, the dashboards and insights, probably now it's the time. So maybe Anupam, over to you again.
Sure. Thanks again for that, Vibhu. And I mean, even before talking about the in-depth capability of Archer in terms of how it can handle your reporting requirements, I want to speak about how easy it is actually to operate these reporting requirements of yours as well. On the screen of yours, you might be able to see a short 10-second video on Loop that is actually showcasing to you how easy dashboards are to operate onto Archer. If tomorrow, let's say this is the kind of reporting format wherein you are trying to follow all your reporting standards, you can go ahead with it. A couple of years course down the line, if you feel like there are additional sorts of visualization or maybe any kind of changes in terms of formatting requirements that you desire to do, it's available at the click of your button in front of you. It's something that we call as what you see is what you get. All sorts of risk, audit, and compliance data that is captured into the system can be brought out in the form of these visualizations that you're seeing in front of your screen. Post that as you feel, however you want it to be represented to your audit board committee, or for that matter, any of your stakeholders. They themselves have the right to create these dashboard visualization for themselves or for the entire team and govern the entire reporting capability for that matter. So it's not something that would be requiring you to contact back to your Archer administrators or us for that matter. Users, once get used to Archer tool itself, can govern the entire functionality from their hand. Anurag, can you proceed to the next slide? Yep. So that's more on how easy it is to operate Archer. But if you're talking about how can you report your audit findings, or for that matter, the entire audit posture of your organization to your C-suite or to your board of directors as well, Archer has the capability for you to define these dashboards in terms of certain specific personas, right from someone sitting at the top of the audit executive committee to someone, let's say, who's as simple as just a business unit owner, or maybe someone as much as an audit engagement expert there, who's required to only identify what sort of observations have been identified, report whether they comply to the required standards or not. If not, then ask for additional information. What I'm trying to convey over here is each stakeholder has the different relevance of the audit data that's been captured into the entire system. Naturally, in the landscape of GRC, talking about any of these postures, be it audit, risk, or compliance, there's obviously an information overload here. Hence, it's very crucial for you to organize this data for relevant personas so that they get a dashboard visibility relevant to their function of work, and they can derive knowledge out of it and maybe work from that point onwards. Archer allows you to create those kind of personas and design your dashboards accordingly. What you might be seeing in front of your screen right now is might be something relevant to an audit executive. So trying to identify amongst the entire audit universe of mine, what is the risk distribution looking like for each of these audit entities? How can I create a risk heat map around it? Certain key matrices indicating how many open findings, open observation, open audits are currently there in my organization. What is the degree of completion of all the audits that are to be handled in the current fiscal year of mine? To what degree have they been completed? How many observation identified against it? All these sorts of visualization, whatever you might be able to imagine, as long as you're capturing that sort of data within the system, can be brought out into these dashboards for your purpose. Anurag, can you take it to the next slide? Sure, thanks. So with now, this is more on the audit part, but beyond this, like I was initially also stressing about the point that, audit is a journey that starts from the third line of defense. But what if we had to say that, can we get a visibility on a real-time perspective as to how our first line and second line of defense are also acting? The answer is yes. Obviously, what Vibhu had initially showcased to you that Archer itself also has capability for you to tackle your operational risk, IT risk, or compliance related requirements within the solutions here. But let us consider for the matter that these are maybe in areas which are not at the moment being automated. All the system would require for you to is to feed in these sorts of risk and compliance related data into the system, and that can connect to your audit management lifecycle journey as well. And further, you can design certain dashboards that are also visible onto your screen and go about identifying what is the real-time posture of your risk environment, your privacy environment, your regulatory and corporate compliance looking like for your purpose as well. Anurag, if you could take me to the next slide. As you can see on this screen, this is more of a visibility of how an organization operational risk posture looks like. So as long as you're feeding all this information around how does your risk register heat map distribution look like, how many risk projects do you run in an organization, if this kind of data is fed into the system over here, you can also draw out an entire operational risk management landscape also of the system, which helps your audit team understand on a real-time basis that what sort of risks have been identified that are even coming before the assessment that has been triggered. Often we encounter this kind of a query from our customers that, automating an audit management system is fine, but the first line and second line defense are quite disconnected and they are not centralized at this point of time. What happens because of that is every time there is an audit assessment triggered at the time, that is exactly when we encounter the risk. We do not get the visibility of risk when actually it was identified. So through integrating these kind of system and external sources of truth, you can connect the first, second, and third line of defense also together and get a holistic picture of how your overall organization's integrated risk management posture might look like to you. Now, if you have not been able to see the visualizations very clearly at this point of time, you need not worry. There's a demonstration following after this presentation, which is going to drive you through an in-depth journey of how Archer can actually help you manage an overall audits lifecycle management journey of yours. So with that, I hand it over back to you, Anurag.
Yeah, thanks, Anupam, for a quite detailed insight, and thanks, Vibhu, for giving a quite introduction. So we, as a Protiviti, want to give you that we are providing you end-to-end solution. You know that Protiviti is a client-centric organization. Our approach of handling the clients are that we align our vision with their vision to make sure that that they achieve their strategic objective by enhancing their operation efficiency and by providing the value to them, giving a more exceptional memories and be a long-lasting relationship with them. We being a consulting company having a strong experience on GRC. We have our experience around 15 plus countries where we have done a lot of implementation GRC. We have around 16 plus implementation in GRC across the globe. We have around 500 plus resources who are expertise on GRC. They are all expertise on different certifications and qualifications they have done related to GRC. And when we do a tie-up with a client, it's more about we are starting a journey where we do the inception, execution, and support, and we make it a holding to the long-lasting relationship. That's what we, as a company organization, we plan to have vision. We talk about in terms of solution consulting, what we do. We handle the GRC strategy network with the clients. We understand their framework, how we can set up the framework for them, and how we can redefine and develop their policies, how we can provide a compliance content to them, and how they can provide the GRC awareness and training. So all these services are just part of GRC gamut of an experience which we have achieved during the experience which we have done for all clients across the globe. Needless to say, we have partnered with Archer, who's one of the leaders in GRC domain, GRC technological advice, one of the leading solution GRC solution providers. We have partnership with Archer. Going to them, they share the same vision with us. They also provides the enterprise and operational risk management, compliance management, audit management, policy management, and other domains of GRC. The plan here is that we should give an end-to-end solution, a 360-degree solution to the client, so that when we start a journey with them, a GRC framework or development or enhancement things, the client not need to go to anywhere. They start journey with us, and they will make a long-lasting relationship with us and exceptional memories. So that's where we want to highlight here is that when we deal with you, it's basically providing an end-to-end solution. So having said that, let's move on to the best practices, current trends, and future of auditing section. So I would be calling or inviting Yugal, where he's waiting for his turn for a long. Yugal, request you to please provide more insights to audience, waiting for you, provide the best audit practices with providing some insights on examples. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we've heard completely in and out in terms of Archer as a tool, automation, the complete GRC suite that we have of this tool. How can we automate, dashboard, report? So what I'll do is I'll try and kind of relate of as to whatever we've spoken until now, put it in the real life scenarios that we really see from an internal audit standpoint. And of course, we've also got a demo scheduled after this, which kind of again helps you to relate of what we speak and what's the capability Archer as a tool has and how realistic it is in terms of what do we speak and what we've shown. And what I'll also do is, along with this, I've seen a couple of questions coming along in the Q&A section. I'll try and pick them up all while I kind of run you through these practices from an effective audit standpoint. So let's look, take a sneak peek at really what the next gen audit or agile audit is. These are the buzzwords. All of us, we kind of speak on these things nowadays. So I can put that simply as agile audit or next gen internal audit is data enabled audits, wherein you do not have those limitation in terms of gathering tons and tons of data. You can use AI tools to analyze such large sets and populate results. Along with this, what also important is, and what I've been listening from various clients, is continuous control monitoring of as to not look at an area in the first quarter and maybe go to the next year. See in the entire BAU that's happening over there, how can we plug in such controls which are continuous control monitoring? So rather than having a analysis after the incident has happened, how proactive can we be and those steps that we take? We speak about agile audit approach as to how do we increase the flexibility and responsiveness, and of course in terms of the enhanced skill set. So how do we kind of upskill ourselves while we intend to implement such sort of agile or next gen audit on in the organization? So, how can this tool help? It's a centralized audit management system and risk-based approach. What this really means is the tool helps you create detailed audit plans, assign audits to these various auditors that we have, uh, align in terms of the timelines that we have on a quarterly basis for those audits, and most important, create dashboards and store all the audit related documents, reports, and data. So this is the tool which kind of provides access both to the auditee and the auditor as well. So any of the discussion which happen nowadays offline, we kind of email the observations or send the report, gather the supportings or evidences from an email standpoint. Everything this can be standardized and it can be stored in the tool, which is relatable easily. Second, it also helps in performing a complete risk assessment or help you prepare the audit plan, maybe a yearly audit plan, quarterly audit plan. So based on the appetite, the risk appetite that the organization has defined, the risk assessment parameters, it helps you not only look at the inherent risk, but also calculate the residual risk for you, propose those audit plans that you need to look from an critical area standpoint, where basically the grading, which is red, amber, and green, and then also have those regular check-ins with the key stakeholders, help ensure that audit remain aligned with the organizational needs. So from an agile methodology standpoint, what I can say is agile audit is used to tackle specific areas based on their priority. Rather say it evolves creating sprints. When I say sprints, which can mean short work cycles that typically last around 1 and 2 weeks. So rather than me waiting to cover a particular area at the end of the year, I can maybe divide that on a quarterly basis, on the need basis, weekly basis, however you want. So like say for example, recently RBI had come out with a guideline for all the NBFC players to have an operational risk management framework and move towards that journey of the operational resilience. So we cannot wait until the end of the year to kind of have some actions around this. So this kind of agile methodology helps deal with those scenarios quickly on a need to need basis. Similarly, from an insurance regulatory development authority perspective, they came out with a complete set of corporate governance guidelines and protection of policyholders. So the insurance companies are then required to kind of embed these regulations into their daily behaviors and start complying with it immediately as per the deadline that they have. So again, rather than waiting on an audit plan which schedules that area only say from a next year perspective or next quarter perspective, such agile methodology help deal with such critical compliances on the need basis as and when required. The next thing is data analytics and technology. Now, as we saw the capabilities of Archer, a lot of things were being spoken. So, if I were to throw a few examples like what and how, or I would say combination of technology with data analytics helps auditors maybe detect anomalies or patterns that might be difficult to identify manually. So this enables more efficient and comprehensive way of as to how a audit can be conducted. So say for example, customer onboarding. Uh, if I have to speak about a bank or insurance company, when a policy is underwritten, a lot of documents are being collected at that point in time from an AML KYC perspective, Aadhaar card, PAN card, a few other declarations. So imagine while these documents are being submitted from a banking perspective, nowadays a video KYC is also being done wherein you are required to present yourself in that frame. You are required to show your PAN card on screen. You are required to sign in front of that particular executive. Uh, so imagine technology helping you to look at such profiles, faces, and then navigate through the sanction list, negative screening list, doing video based analysis, saying the person who was there on the call versus the photographs and the documents being submitted. This is all now possible due to such data analytics and technology being implemented through such tools. Another example that I can take is telematics into motor insurance. Now, what does this exactly mean? So the power of technology is such that it kind of does a behavioral analysis of the driver, his car driving patterns, the state or the roads or the streets where he's been driving, the climatic conditions, the offenses, the claims, the traffic violations, jumping the signals. Imagine all of this available with an underwriter when the policy is being underwritten on a real time basis, because nowadays pay as you go is a very famous concept. You pay for the insurance only for the time you use, you drive your car or you ride your bike. So these kind of technologies kind of help you embed that approach and takes your audit approach to a next level. We all already heard from Vibu that earlier we used to have solutions which are on-prem, but now cloud-based audit tools have come in picture. So what exactly do we mean by cloud-based audit tools? This is nothing but again an integration of the users from an audit standpoint or an auditor standpoint to an auditee standpoint. We see nowadays Microsoft Teams happening. We have online SharePoint wherein we can integrate within the teams internally from an organization standpoint. So imagine Archer as a tool providing this platform of people integrating on a real-time basis rather than waiting to send emails, then get the responses on a real-time basis, helping people gather at the same place, and how efficient that could be. So like say in a bank which has got multiple locations, a cloud-based audit tool can instantly identify a breach in terms of say branch operations. So we all know there are some limits in terms of the petty cash or the amount of cash that you can use in a particular day or so. So if I were to have a real-time status of my branches, say assume a bank which has got maybe thousands of branches across India. I want a quick real-time status in terms of towards the end of the day, which were those branches wherein these limits have been breached. It's like just clicks away for me to identify such scenarios. Another best practice could be taken from a payments company or from a compliance standpoint. Imagine a web crawler as a solution which kind of goes into various regulatory slides or bodies and finding out those compliances, summarizing it for it as to what and when a regulator has been demanded, and after summarizing it, creating a complete set of checkpoints from that. This is all absolutely possible today with such cloud-based audit tools or solutions that we have. And while we've spoken about these tools, AI, technologies, what is it that from an automation standpoint kind of helps us or builds further efficiency in doing such audits? So, taking an example of, say, if I were to identify in my organization from an employee moonlighting standpoint, how many employees do I have who are at present salaried with me but do hold a GST number, or are or hold a DIN number, which is holding a directorship with some company or is having some sole proprietorship along with the employment with my company over here. So it's possible today to kind of have linkages with various UPIs. So say for example with EPFO as an organization, or the income tax portal, or the GST portal, or the classic example could be that I took from a motor insurance standpoint to be integrated with M-Parivahan, getting the complete set of facts for that particular individual. These API integration enables again from a real-time basis to gather all these inputs and the logics which can run automatically and give those solutions to me. So I can take another example from an HR payroll standpoint. The company has maybe a policy of processing the payroll towards the last working day of the month. How about a system being designed wherein Archer as a tool kind of integrates with that core system of any organization? It has a patch or a logic run at a given point in time. It will pull the data, run the logics which are already set, throw the results before even the vendor who's being supposed to process the payroll with me. These anomalies are identified, analyzed by the company, and then the vendor processes the payouts basis the inputs it again gets from the company. So in this age of data, digital automation, and such brilliant GRC tools that we have, our audit can really be taken to that next level or next gen audit as we speak. And this tool is completely industry agnostic. It can be any industry that we speak. It's just that we need to build that particular logics that we spoke upon. It can be implemented across a group from a group internal audit standpoint. Yes, of course we can do that. It's again based on the company. How do they want to implement that? It's completely flexible from that standpoint. And if I were to speak on the capability building, ESG is a new buzzing word. Cyber security, data, governance, all of this, everything can be built from a solution standpoint from this tool, and we can look at from the next gen perspective. Over to you, Anurag.
Yeah, thanks, Yugal, for a very deep insight and a detailed explanation of the best practices. I just will have some couple two more slides and then go to demo and consider of Lime. I'll just talk about the key trends shaping the audit management. Yugal has given a lot of insights on the current trend, the best practices. We'll talk about what are the current trends which are shaping the audit management. So integration of artificial intelligence. I think this is many of the organization has started integrating the artificial intelligence and using the tools which are fitted with artificial intelligence capabilities. They will automating the automation of risk assessment, data analysis, anomaly detection, AI, ML, and NLP. These are the buzzwords and they are getting utilized in the systems. With the help of the AI tools, the anomalies, fraud detections, everything can be predicted. Data analysis that with the help of ML, the previous trends, data history can be ascertained. And with the help of NLP, the unstructured data can be read across. So the unstructured data that includes your emails, your pictures, your social media informations, those things also can be captured with NLP informations. So this is where now the industries or the enterprises are started using the artificial intelligence in many of their systems. Cloud-based solutions. So now with the help of the flexibility, the scalability, and the ease of access these solutions are providing, many of the organizations are using cloud-based solutions. For example, if we talk about how currently they are getting utilized, so if you talk about like TCS, when the came of pandemic, they have actually done all the audits in the cloud-based solutions. Even you talk about in terms of the UID, the Aadhaar card, and all these things, they all are now running in the cloud-based solutions. Moving to the RPA, robotic process automation. So these again, automation of repeating tasks, just definitely to bring the efficiency gains. So in terms of, if I give an example, the Infosys, they are doing all their internal audits through RPA. They have automated tasks. So international, the generation of their audit reports, automation of their audit executions, the testings, they all performing through RPA. Even one of the manufacturing giant like Tata Steel, if I can talk about, they're also using their Exclaim management systems through RPA. This is one of the example talking about RPA. RegTech, where basically all the compliance processes will streamline from start to end, the process where the extraction of the information, the compliance, assessment of the compliance, taking actions and delivering and reporting and monitoring of the compliance, everything is possible through RegTech. Real-time monitoring, the compliance monitoring is basically one of the factors where continuous assessments rather than periodic checks. So this is majorly all big giants like the Reliance and Tata groups. They all are using the continuous assessments than the periodic checks. They have the deep focus on cybersecurity and data privacy. So it makes sure that cybersecurity controls and data protection compliance are there. Then and the last, we have data analytics and visualizations, which is also one of the factors where all the data, all organizations are using the data analytics and visualization, all their common tools related to audit management. So these are the key trends which are shaping the audit management. Now, last but not the least, talking about the future of auditing, what lies ahead. So there are a couple of factors which shows, and about my previous reports also, which we're talking about, and also what we have discussed during this whole webinar, that where these future of auditing is heading, right? So you notice that in advent of AI is one of the biggest factor which makes need to understand started using these type of tools. Predictive auditing, I think this is one of the thing which is what going to be the future, where the AI is highly leveraged, AI, ML, NLP, and other modes of AI-related transformation going to happen. So predictive auditing is one of the factor on the future is going to happen. Blockchain integration, because of the data integrity and enhancing, many of the organizations are using the blockchain integration, and the usage of blockchain will be higher in future. For example, if I talk about in case of let's say Dubai or like Estonia, these are the two countries where all the governments are using their transactions through blockchain integrations. So the adoption is on the rise, and in future it's going to be on a higher side. Focus on ESG audits. So just definitely the rise of environmental, social, and governance criteria. So all the governments are wants to have these that all the companies need to be in ESG compliant. So there would be a focus on ESG audits in future. Intelligent automation, where multiple technologies will be tied up. They work in together, and they do work in collaboration. They integrate together and create an impeccable impact. So there should be a combined multiple technologies for end-to-end process automation. That would be something the future which lies ahead. enhance cybersecurity and data protection. That is what we also understood, that even after 10 years down the line, cybersecurity risk always in the topmost priority. So definitely the enhancement of cybersecurity and data protection would be the future. And lastly, the talent transformation, where the upskilling of the auditors for the advanced tools and technologies will be in the R. Owing to the limited skills the auditor have currently, on the future, they need to be transformed and upskills for those type of technologies. And ultimately, all the tasks which you're going to have in the future, or any work which you're going to have, leads to the value creation. So that is where the intent that identifying improvement opportunities and increase the resilience and values is one of the key factor where all the future auditing works need to be developed. So this is what we're going to close the part of it, but now moving quickly on the demonstration of the product. After this demo, just request everyone to, if they have any questions and which we want to answer regarding the product, request to quick load, because after that demo is just a 6 minutes of demo. We can just do a 5 minutes of quick Q&A to answer any of the questions you may have during the course of the session.
Archer Audit Management puts you in control of the complete audit lifecycle, while also enabling improved governance of all your audit activities. This solution enables internal audit to use a consistent, risk-based audit approach to drive greater efficiency in the execution of the audit plan. Features include risk-based prioritization of your audit universe, resource scheduling and staffing, management of audit engagements, creation of audit reports, and tracking of findings and remediation plans. You can transform the efficiency of your audit department, complete better scoped audits more quickly, and decrease external audit fees. Let's start with where the typical audit lifecycle begins, your audit universe. Archer Audit Management makes it easy to define, assess, prioritize, and review your audit universe in audit entities. To understand your audit universe, I can review the audit entity risk heat map, which provides immediate context around the risks that are associated with each audit entity. I can then drill into the entities I'm most concerned with and perform a deeper analysis. As an example, let's look at a high-risk entity. Within the audit entity, you can document key information about all your auditable entities, such as brief description, the domain, region, and key stakeholders involved from the audit team or business. Furthermore, you can link your audit entities to key processes, risks, controls, or other IT business asset taxonomies that define the entity. This allows you to establish the appropriate risk, control, business, and IT context with your audit universe. For example, for any given scoped asset, you can view the current status of ratings, such as compliance or risk ratings, so your audit team is always in the know of the latest information. As part of your audit planning and prioritization process, your audit team can perform periodic risk assessments against audit entities. You can leverage Archer's assessment methodology that calculates inherent risk rating, control effectiveness rating, and residual risk rating, or can complete assessments with your own methodology by using Archer's easy and flexible workflow and questionnaire builder to meet your needs. This gives your audit teams a risk-based summary of your audit universe based on your internal audit risk assessment scores, as well as any risk-based scores from the scoped business context. Your audit team can effectively prioritize the required frequency and potential next audit dates to aid in your audit planning and prioritization processes. Your audit managers and executives can leverage the risk assessment and prioritization information from your audit universe to build, approve, and maintain a strategic audit plan. In each audit plan, you can document helpful plan information, such as name, description, dates, and audit stakeholders for ownership and approvals. Your audit team can collaborate within the plan to propose audits in the plan entities section. Each of these proposed audits may come from prioritized audit entities and allows your team to estimate the planned hours and expenses they would take to complete. Audit executives can now view the estimated hours and expenses totals that roll up to the entire audit plan in the hours and expenses section, making it easier to determine if the audit department has appropriate resources available to accomplish all the items proposed within the plan. Once your audit plans are in place, the next step in the audit lifecycle is to execute your audits. Within an audit plan, we can also view the audit engagements as your audit teams begin executing the audits within your plan. Let's take a look at the 2024 payable process audit. Within an audit engagement record, we are presented with key details such as the workflow status and context around the overview and scope and objectives for this audit, and key personnel such as the assigned audit manager, audit lead, or business unit contact. As we scroll through the record, we are offered additional insight into project milestones, which can be used to capture key audit dates and move the audit engagements through workflow. Within the Scoping tab, we're able to cross-reference pertinent asset and risk and control data. For our example here, we can see relevant business units, business processes, and risks and controls as well. After confirming the scope of an audit, we are ready to complete the fieldwork and testing. For this audit engagement, the first step is to create an audit work paper. Within the work paper, I can document testing objectives, outline the approval workflow, and reference my relevant audit procedures, and any resulting work paper findings that I've generated. After field work and all testing is completed, we can wrap up the audit and produce the final audit report. Let's take a look at the wrap-up tab. On the wrap-up tab, I can document an executive summary, document the final audit rating, and produce and store the final audit report prior to audit close. Now that my audit execution is complete, I can return to the audit executive dashboard for ongoing monitoring of my audit plan, findings, and results throughout the audit year. Archer's dashboards can highlight helpful monitoring reports such as the audit engagement ratings per audit plan report. That shows my audit ratings breakouts within my most recent audit plans, the audit findings summary and trends report that shows breakout of critical findings by business unit, or easily use Archer's flexible dashboard and report builder to help you monitor your audit activities and results.
All right. So,
Archer Audit Management.
so now we have seen the demo. Let's check for the questions we have.
Surprisingly, there are a lot of questions, and I think some of them have been answered on the chat itself, some by me, some
Okay.
by Yugal, and some by Anupam, but there would be a few more, or if there are more, we can address them.
So maybe I can
Vibhu.
help you with those. So one of it is Archer. Does Archer also provide RPA? I think that's robotic process automation. One of the question is that.
Robotic process automation, unfortunately, no. We don't have robotic process automation.
And the next one is, does Archer provide MFA authentication?
Yes.
That
So
can
Archer
be
does.
inbuilt into Archer, yes.
Yes.
Sorry,
it
go
does.
ahead, Anupam.
Yes, Vibhu, I was saying the same thing. Archer does support MFA authentication. So each organization, their identity provider team might be having some or the other sort of MFA tool over there. Archer can integrate to that and support through that. We have SSO-based login mechanism already pre-built into the system. But let's say if MFA is also something that the customer wants to integrate through the overall identity provider system, that's possible.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Then the next question is, does this have a module, a separate module, say for IFC or SOX control testing?
If I'm assuming SOX, you mean Sarbanes-Oxley Act, or
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, Archer does definitely have a solution for specially designed for Sarbanes-Oxley Act. It might not be there in the audit management suite, but it actually comes as a part of our regulatory and corporate compliance management, wherein we have specific solutions that help you with these very common regulatory asks like SOX, PCI, or ISO 27001 compliance as well. So end-to-end automation around getting your facility certified to ISO, getting yourself PCI certified, getting your application SOX compliant, all these things, we have a specific solutions for it.
Perfect. Thanks.
Um,
So we can cater to those separate modules. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one question here, Yuval, from the team for
Yes.
the Archer side.
Yeah.
So audit and GRC solutions market is getting crowded day by day. What unique differentiators does Archer has over some other solution, and why it is considered the best solution for the GRC in the market? Vibhu, you want to take it?
Sure, Anurag, thank you for question. Means, yes, I agree. There are a lot of GRC solution providers in the market. One reason that is there's a lot of uptick and adoption of technology across industries outside BFSI, who are looking for automating their work. And as I said earlier in our presentation, that Archer has been in the industry for almost now 24 years, 23 plus years. So 2+ decades, we have done a lot of research and matured our journey into integrated risk management, different solution areas, Gartner Magic Quadrants, and solid, backing by our client base that are spread across different industries in around 450 countries. That's one thing that differentiates Archer. Secondly, it's about all the things, I think what Yugal was talking about, leveraging on integration with other technology providers or data sources, integrations, SaaS or on-prem, modality, and you need not run through the loads of JavaScript to manage Archer. So it's quite easy to use and easy to deploy. And above all, I feel Archer is the only organization which has something unique. It is called Archer Community. So all the people, if you go to www.archerirm.com, which is our URL for our website, if you navigate, you can reach Archer Community. So community is where you can go and search on various topics, what new things are happening, how people are using the tool differently across industries. So it's like in open source there's an upstream and downstream, where people help each other. Exactly, the Archer community is there. So those are the
Thank
few
you.
reasons why Archer would has a differentiator or an edge over other solution providers in the market.
Very well said, Vibhu.
So can we
Thanks a lot.
say, Vibhu, that's a low code, no code type of platform which is so very easily accessible and customizable as well.
Yes, I would. It's a simple one-word answer would be yes, but it's far more and beyond than just low code, no code.
All right, I think that's it. We have to close this Q&A session now. I think we are exceeding time by 7 minutes. Thanks a lot to Vibhu, Yugal, Anupam for your insight for this session. It was a great session provided from the Archer, and Yugal also from your side. Great insight. Thanks a lot, everyone, for this session. The last request from everyone that if you want to discuss further on the Archer, to want to have a detailed demonstration, please do not hesitate to contact us. These are below details for all of us where we can connect with us. You can directly reach out through LinkedIn, through email. We are happy to do a separate session where we can do a detailed demonstration of the product with you guys. Thanks a lot for joining this session and appreciate your time and have a lovely day ahead.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks
From
a lot.
our side also, thank you everyone. Have a
Thank
good
you.
rest of the day and a good weekend ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.